Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm your host, That One Camera Guy, and in this episode we're going to be taking a look at the Rosewill SRM01 and finding out if it's the best budget $30 PC case. Starting with the front of the case, you'll find a simple yet nice looking brushed aluminum panel. Although I don't know if it's actually aluminum, here you'll find access to your 5 1/4 inch drive bay, and down below you'll find your hard drive light indicator. Moving our way to the top of the case, you'll find your 2 USB 2 ports, along with the solo USB 3.0 port added to the side of the front panel case. This is one of the few cases at these budget prices with one of these. On the left side, you'll find the same situation, but we find ourselves a perforated area for aiding in airflow. On the back of the case, up top, you'll find the cutout for the ATX power supply with your I/O cutout and included 80mm exhaust fan, and down below you'll find your 4 expansion slots, which unfortunately had to be snapped off to install a graphics card. At the bottom of the case, Rosewill was nice enough to throw in a small dust filter. Removing the front panel, we'll find access to our 5 1/4 inch drive bay again, along with view of the 140mm fan perforations. Removing the left panel, we find access to the main components. At first, it will seem the case has a tight fit, but there's a slight trick. You can actually remove 2 screws that will allow you to swing a small section of the case frame panel out of the way to make working in the case easier. This is also the panel that you will be installing your SSDs and hard drives to. The build process was fairly straightforward and actually quite systematic. When making your build, I would recommend a modular power supply unit, but considering this is a budget build, you may not have the budget for one. You'll have to really maneuver your cables around to make things work. Installing the motherboard standoffs were without a hitch. Placing the motherboard and screwing it down was very simple. There was plenty of space to get it in there. Although make sure your other components are installed on the motherboard. Once you have your motherboard, power supply, and front header connections installed, go ahead and add in your SSD or hard drive. This part is a bit tricky. The drive will attach to the back side of the panel that swings out. I actually found this to be a really nice design idea. I set it up so that the cables could connect towards the front end of the case to aid in cable management. Here are some warning tips. I recommend you stick with the hard drive on the top cage and use the SSD on the bottom, or just stick with one SSD on the top section. If you plan to install a long GPU, you're gonna run into some problems. I found that if you're installing a shorter GPU, just under 4 inches in height, and the power cable runs on the side, you should be able to keep your hard drive installed there. However, if the card has the PCI power on top, you'll run into issues closing the hard drive panel. As far as graphics cards, you can install one around 11 inches and slight room for 12-inch cards. As far as CPU coolers, you've got around 5 inches or 127mm in height clearance. The downsides I found about this case really lie in the material and construction. The plastic components don't really scream premium, although our case is far from that obviously. I dislike the PCI Express panels having to be broken off, although I do notice this is a trend on some cases at this price range. The feet are made of cheap plastic and my case was actually uneven, but I was able to rotate one of the feet to eliminate this problem. My final thoughts: if you're looking for a sleek, small, and low profile case for $30, you really can't go wrong with the Rosewill SRM01. It may feel a bit chintzy, but it's still pretty good. The metal used in the material is actually very light, and when you pick up the whole unit, it's actually really easy to carry. So if you're really transporting a case around, this might be one to consider. You know, some other micro ATX units are actually bigger than this case and weigh a little bit more, but they afford more options. When you actually compare it to an EVGA Hadron Air ITX case, I found the Hadron Air to be even more heavy. It was just more dense along with the power supply unit installed. So that's something for you to think about. If you are looking for a slightly more premium case in the $30 price range, you can definitely find some if you are patient. I recommend you look at the Reddit's Build the PC Sales website, Newegg.com, and even slickdeals.net for those deals that pop up frequently. I was actually able to pick up a Micro ATX Corsair 88R series case for $30 after a rebate. So you definitely can find some nice cases with premium materials at that budget if you wait long enough. Guys, I don't know everything. If I missed anything or you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear what you think. If you did enjoy this video, consider giving it a like or even sharing it. It really helps and motivates me producing more content every week. And if you do like the videos I am producing on my channel, consider subscribing. Now, if you did miss my last video I did about the Fractal Design Define R5 case, go ahead and click on the eye icon up there. And with that said, I'll catch you later. Bye.